The words echoed through the halls of the Academy Galacticus Physical Education, wing like a shockwave. He's coming to gym class. But this wasn't just any student. This was a human. Are you serious? A deaf welder, squeaked Plek, a small blue-skinned Venari, his 3 eyes blinking in fear as he clung to the ceiling. His friend Krex, a hulking thoth with volcanic rock-like skin, nodded grimly. Yeah, plea. A real human. Name's Jack Torin. Transferred from Earth. The room fell silent. Everyone knew the legends of Earth, a planet teeming with acid oceans, razor-tipped foliage, and creatures with more teeth than sense. And at the top of this nightmare ecosystem, humans, creatures who thrived on chaos, adapted to anything, and boasted unnatural strength. Gym class was meant to be safe, not a survival test. Votrin, a long-limbed Kathy, paced anxiously. This is unacceptable. We are here for flexibility and core strength, not to fight a beast. I heard humans can lift 3 times their body weight, whispered Yex, a floating flatty. That's not all, added Thurland, a sleek Zarini. They can run for hours without stopping. Krax growled. What if he just grabbed someone? One wrong move and splat. The door slid open with a hiss. Silence fell as Jack Torin stepped in. He wasn't the tallest or the bulkiest, but something about him felt heavy. Not physically, though his muscular frame suggested he could toss around a thoth like a pillow, but in presence. He scanned the room with unreadable brown eyes. Class, this is Jack Torin, Instructor Brock announced. His new. Treat him like any other student. Jack nodded. Hey. His voice was calm, casual, but carried a weight that made Plex scurry deeper into the air vent. No one moved. Warm up. Brock barked, jolting them into action. The students spread out, giving Jack a wide berth like he might explode at any moment. Yet Jack, oblivious, stretched with ease. As others gasped for breath, he remained unsettlingly relaxed. He's not even sweating, Votrin muttered. Unnatural, Krax grunted. When the circuit training began, Jack lifted the heaviest bar in the gym like it was weightless. At the agility course, he weaved through obstacles effortlessly, while Plek tripped over himself. By the endurance station, the class had stopped pretending to train. He's still not tired. Yearlik, a floating alien, trembled in disbelief. Humans. Thurland panted. They are built for this. It's what they do. Survive. Krax, drenched in sweat, growled. It's just not right. Jack looked around at the staring class. What? Is this part of the warm-up too? He asked, completely serious. Froke, a gelatinous Jishin, jiggled forward, finally working up the nerve to approach. The class held its breath. Gym class would never be the same again. Fear and pride pushed Froke over the edge. Death welder, he wobbled. You think you can outshine us all? We have strengths too. Jack blinked. I guess. Froke puffed up. You're not the only one with skills. I challenge you. Krax muttered. Oh no, he's gonna get flattened. Jack just smiled. All right. What's the challenge? Froke hesitated, then pointed at the balance beam. Whoever crosses fastest wins. The beam wasn't hard for most, but for Froke, a gelatinous blob, it was like walking a thread. He wobbled across, then slipped, splat. Plek screamed and vanished into a vent. Grumbling, Froke reformed himself. I slipped. Jack hopped onto the beam and crossed it effortlessly. That was fun. Who's next? Silence. No one dared. So, we do these little competitions for fun. Jack asked. Krax snorted. Fun for you. For us, it's survival. Yet, Jack's easygoing attitude made them feel slightly less terrified. He wasn't trying to crush them. He seemed confused by their fear. Next was the relay race. Thurland, the reigning champ, eyed Jack nervously. He's probably gonna jog and still win. The whistle blew. The race began. Jack's teammate, Yerks, floated in terror. Thurland's partner, Groan, was a frail trier barely keeping upright. Then it was Jack's turn. The moment Yerks tapped him in, Jack exploded forward, closing the gap in seconds. He passed Groan so effortlessly, the trier didn't even notice. Thurland gawked. He's not human. Jack jogged past the finish line, barely winded. Yerks, still floating, whispered, "We survived." Thurland muttered, "This is a competition, not a human highlight reel." Jack grinned sheepishly. "Sorry, man. Just running." The last event was the obstacle course, a gauntlet of hurdles, climbing walls, and rope swings. Brock clapped. Pairs challenge. One leads, one follows. Jack ended up with Cracks, the one most wary of him. Cracks, with his massive frame, wasn't known for agility, but he refused to let a human outshine him. He glared at the obstacle course, like it had personally offended him. "I'll lead," he grumbled. Jack raised an eyebrow. "You sure?" "I don't mind." "I've got this," Cracks snapped. The whistle blew. Cracks charged forward, smashing through obstacles rather than dodging them. Jack followed, calmly sidestepping flying debris. The aliens watched in stunned silence as Cracks bulldozed his way through while Jack moved with effortless grace. At the climbing wall, Cracks clawed his way up with sheer willpower while Jack scaled it like it was a playground slide. It was obvious Jack could have finished 5 times over, but he stayed back, letting Cracks lead. Panting at the finish, Cracks gasped. That was intense. Jack clapped him on the back. "You did great, man." Cracks blinked. "I did." Jack grinned. "Yeah, you smashed it." The other aliens whispered in paranoia. "He let Cracks lead," Plek muttered. "He's holding back. What's he really capable of?" Instructor Brock, visibly sweating, called for the final challenge, a brutal endurance course requiring teamwork. When Jack was paired with Thurland, the Zarini sprinter paled. "All right, let's do this," Jack said cheerfully. Thurland forced a smile. "Why, yeah. Fine." The first challenge was a teamwork lift, an enormous boulder meant to be carried in pairs. Jack crouched. "On 3, we lift together, okay?" Thurland nodded, muscles tense. "Right. Together. 1, 2, 3. Thurland strained with all his might, but as the boulder lifted effortlessly, he realized with horror that Jack was doing all the work. He wasn't lifting anything at all. Meanwhile, Cracks grunted as he struggled with Yex, the tiny flatty hovering beside him, flailing his limbs. "I'm helping." Yerk squeaked. By the time Jack and Thurland finished, the others were still struggling. Thurland wiped his brow, mortified. I think you did most of that." Jack chuckled. "It's cool. We are a team, right?" Next was the endurance climb, a test of agility and cooperation. Thurland perked up. Finally, something he could actually contribute to. Jack eyed the towering wall. "You go first. I'll follow your lead." Thurland, grateful for the chance to contribute, leapt onto the structure. His agile limbs found handholds with ease, scaling it like he was built for it. Jack followed, not as fast but moving with effortless grace. By the time they reached the top, Thurland swelled with pride, until he glanced down. Below, the rest of the class was in chaos. Cracks was halfway up, his massive arms trembling as Yex hovered beside him, offering useless advice. "Maybe use your legs more." "I am using my legs." Cracks snarled. Meanwhile, Frack, a gelatinous alien, was attempting to ooze his way up, while Plek clung to his back, screaming incoherently. By the time Jack and Thurland finished the course, most of the class was still struggling. Instructor Brock, suppressing amusement, blew his whistle. "Pick up the pace, people." The final challenge was the infamous Zan lift, a massive weighted platform requiring both strength and balance. Thurland eyed Jack. I'm guessing this is your department." Jack grinned. "Don't worry, I got this." As Jack hoisted the platform effortlessly, Thurland wobbled atop it, struggling to maintain balance. Meanwhile, Crax's grunts echoed through the gym as he barely budged his own platform, while Yerks flailed uselessly on top. Frack had given up entirely, and Plek had already resigned himself to doom. When the challenge ended, the exhausted aliens collapsed in a heap. Even Brock looked ready for a nap. Jack, however, casually stretched, barely winded. Thurland wiped his brow. "Is this normal for you? Just breezing through challenges?" Jack shrugged. "Didn't want to overdo it. I didn't want anyone to feel bad." Thurland gawked. "Jack, you lifted a boulder like it was a pillow." "Nearby," Cracks groaned. "You're not normal. No way a species like yours just exists. Jack blinked. I'm just human. The class fell silent. Groen's voice wavered. Earth is a death world, isn't it? Jack hesitated. Technically, yeah. But it's not that bad. We have water, plants, nice beaches, a few natural disasters, but you get used to it. Natural disasters? Frack gurgled. Like what? Jack scratched his head. Oh, earthquakes, hurricanes, tornadoes, volcanic eruptions. Crax's jaw dropped. Manageable. You call that manageable? Jack frowned. Well, yeah. It's not like we are constantly getting flattened by lava. Plek, still hiding in the air vent, muttered, "Here's a walking disaster." The class exchanged uneasy glances. Jack, oblivious, grinned. Hey, I'm just glad we got through it together. You guys did great. Crack sighed. Fine. You're impressive. But that doesn't mean I like it. Yerkes floated nervously. You're not gonna start lifting planets, are you? Jack chuckled. Nah, planets are a bit heavy even for me. Thurland, watching the class slowly relax, crossed his arms. Maybe we've been looking at this wrong. Jack's not here to make us feel weak. He's here to help. He could have crushed every challenge alone, but he didn't. He worked with us. Jack nodded. Exactly. It's about teamwork. Crax grumbled. Still feels like we are the ones getting carried. Thurland smirked. Maybe. But that's what makes it fun. Instructor Brock clapped his hands. All right, that's enough for today. Good work, everyone. Especially you, Toren. Jack grinned sheepishly. Thanks, sir. I'll try to tone it down next time. Brock chuckled. Please don't. We need you to keep the rest of us on our toes. As the class filed out, still so but a little less terrified, Thurland turned to Jack. Next time, try not to lift the boulder too fast. All right? We've got a reputation to maintain. Jack laughed. Deal. As he left, the aliens exchanged glances. Maybe, just maybe, humans weren't the worst thing in the universe. Terrifying. Absolutely. But maybe they were exactly the kind of terrifying you wanted on your team. From the A vent, Plek's whisper echoed through the gym. We're all gonna die next week, aren't we?